School surveys are really powerful for collecting information about your stakeholders. Schools sometimes ask these kind of 20 or 30 questions once a year, and they really give a great snapshot on how the school is functioning. However, there's another kind of way of capturing stakeholder voice, and that's through a pulse point survey. Pulse points operate a little bit differently. You might not be asking the same scope of questions. It might only be 4 or 5 questions. But the idea here is you're asking the same group of people the same handful of questions over a shorter period of time. You might be asking them several times a term, or certainly several times a year. In this way, you're going to be able to measure the impact of your organisation, particularly if you've put an initiative in place that you're really wanting to know, is it having the effect that we want it to? So the Pulse Point tool helps you to achieve this. It's easy to set up. All you need to do is just give it a title, add some instructions, and straight away it's going to give you a link to the form. Now at the moment there's nothing on the form, I haven't put any questions in, but that's super easy to do because we're going to be using the same questions as last time. So over here I'm just going to copy and paste my previous questions down, and you'll notice that I've chosen to ask the same questions each time deliberately. Halfway through the pulse point I may have thought of another question to ask, and I can add that in too. I might or might not want to collect emails. This can be helpful if you are asking the community these questions. You might want to maintain some anonymity there, so you can deselect that or reselect. So the link is there and you can share that with anyone you like, but another way of sharing it is through the QR code generator on the sheet as well. So as soon as you create a new pulse point, it's going to give you a QR code that you can then put up on your signage so parents can hold up their phones. This looks really good on a phone. Okay, so once you've collected in your data, this tool is going to let you do some really neat analysis straight in the sheet itself. So you can bring up any particular pulse point or just leave it blank and collect all the data. And it's going to show you histograms of the spread of the data. It's going to show you longitudinal views. It's going to show you pie charts if that's appropriate. And it's going to let you do some other filtering as well. So you can filter by a particular student and see how they've changed their mind over time as well. You're going to get the usual things like pivot tables in there. And a nice additional feature here is quadrants. So you get to pick 2 questions that are on a scale. So those are the ones that are from 1 to 100. And you're going to be able to then see how students or the stakeholders have put themselves. Another nice thing about this tool is you get to customize it. So you get to choose the fonts and the colors. And when you change something like that, that's going to change how it looks and feels on the pulse point form. You can also change the branding from Data Informed to whatever your school has as their logo. And finally, another really neat part of this is when you have your data, if I just remove the filters out of it for a second and just go, I might have everything on a particular question. Then I go to my filtered data and download this as a CSV. What I can then do is go across to the Gemini Gem and upload that CSV file into it, and it's been built specifically to give you insights into that data. So you don't have to do all the analysis yourself. It's going to be primed to give you insights. And you can probe it a little bit and ask for reflections on particular students that you could be concerned about. And it's going to give you some insights there as well. It will do a sentiment analysis on the text box responses. So if they've written some additional comments, it's going to give you some ideas on the kind of themes and thoughts that the students are generating, particularly those students that might demonstrate higher or lower scores in certain questions. So yeah, a pretty neat and powerful little tool. It does a lot for just simply popping in a few tags and questions in there. And so a great step up from your sort of traditional survey where you're generating lots of data, and really making it a big step up for shorter surveys where you want to be checking the change over a period of time for specific questions.